So Obsidian. Obsidian is a superpowered Markdown editor, and then that's it. It doesn't serve much purpose if you want to make related documents. It can't do that really. But if you want to take notes, it serves note the purpose of note taking for me. You don't want to take notes in LaTeX. It just um, does not work because LaTeX is not built for it. Obsidian is built for note taking, for long-term note taking which you do not want to convert to documents for short-term note taking, say a workshop you want to attend and you want to write down notes which look like this. This is my unedited notes from a recent workshop. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do using Obsidian, which looks very nice. One of the things is, for example, this progress bar and this how many days have you been using Obsidian and this very little thing which is uh, JavaScript code that checks which time of the day it is and then gives you morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is not my code. I have gathered these from the last 5 years I have been using Obsidian. Um, the web page that I made has a link for this template that I'm showing right now. It shows, so what you have to do is you download the zip and open it up in Obsidian, which so install Obsidian from obsidian.md website. It will after installing, click on the open the software up, and then it will ask you to open the folder as a vault. Open the unzipped folder from this template as a vault, which uh, which should open up this vault blank. Now you click on these left right icons to open the left and right panes, and home page, home note will welcome you, and it will ask you to click on more links. So how Obsidian works is it's all Markdown files. It's all .md files. Just like LaTeX uses dot text files, which are just plain text files. It's just text file. .txt is no different from any of the other text files. Just that the names are different. They are meant for different softwares to read off. Any code editor software can read these files. So if you open the same folder in VS Code, you will be able to VS Code will be able to read them as text files. So Obsidian is a text editor. MD files, Markdown files are text files. It just renders the text in a nice way. If I want to show what this text actually looks like, it looks like this. Which it takes that code and then it renders it nicely. And we want to use that to write and draw and do everything that we want to do for day-to-day purposes. So this is not for document exporting, which is what LaTeX, raw LaTeX is built for. Um, now, let's look at some of the syntaxes. So syntax is, so you write text, you create notes, you click Control N, you will create a note. It will ask for a name and then it will create a note and then you type like this. You Control P and then write delete and click on delete current file, it will delete that node. I don't want these nodes to be there, so I deleted that node. Now, what you can write headings by adding hashtags. Hashtag space, it's not, so I shouldn't call it a hashtag, it's just a hash space will give you headings. There are 6 headings. This is the Markdown notation. There are links, so you can link to external um, websites, but you can also link to other files that is given by the Wikipedia syntax. If you open up Wikipedia, how they use hyperlinks to other websites, other Wikipedia sites, you will be able to see this is the double bracket is what they use, and you can use double bracket to link her files here too, but it's linking to itself. That's not self linking is not really correct thing to do. And anyway, you can write lists by just just a minus sign, space, it's a list. It's simple syntax. Plain text is nice because it uses minimal size. It's minimal to store that information, it's minimal to write that information down. So this is why it's better to use plain text than using something like a docs or word. They're not plain text files, they're word processing softwares. They use their own uh, dot uh, document extensions. So they are not plain text really. Plain text just means open up. You can also make callouts, which is a Obsidian feature. It's not a exact. This syntax is not, I think, not Markdown built in, but you can make callouts. So what you can do is write slash and callout, and then you can add a callout. So that's a note. You can write its title and contents. Um, Code blocks are also allowed if you write the CPP. So it'll syntax highlight depending on the language you have written down. And clicking on the language name will copy the code for you. So for coders, this is also a nice thing because you can install plugins on Obsidian where you can run the code which I wrote right now. So to do that, you need to have some Python installed, maybe. I'm not sure. Now you can make tables, and tables uh, are a pain to make them in LaTeX. But here you can draw big tables. There is no restriction on how many columns or rows you want to make. Or using plugins, you can literally add full-on LaTeX. This is a SVG. This is another SVG. This is a full-on PGF plot rendered inside Obsidian completely offline. It doesn't work very well. Of course, if you want to render LaTeX, just use actual LaTeX, but um, and export them as SVG maybe and then save them. But this works. This works for me. Let's say you want to write a commutative diagram, a small one. Then this, just go to this website. You can open websites right inside Obsidian. You're taking notes. You open up this website right inside Obsidian. Draw some uh, commutative diagram. This is Quiver CD. Make sure you check out of center. Copy the code. Press Alt E on my template vault. You will get a quiver template. You click enter once. It will render. It will render very quickly. It will render, I think, completely offline. I thought it was not offline, this plugin that I'm using. So most of these things are using plugins. Plugins are made by third party, not by Obsidian developers. I have in my template, I have installed 20 plugins for people to use. One of them is rendering LaTeX like this. This is why this is very cool. Um, because let's say you want to take uh, semester university notes, then you can make a university note, which university semester one note, where you will add a progress bar, which you will add the start day and end date. I've done here. This is my code, that's why it's so big and ugly. But it will render progress bar for you. It will tell you how many days are left to start a semester. If you make a course note, it will ask you to click lecture notes. And if you open up an old lecture note, it will render the notes for you. Now, you want to look at these notes and edit them side by side. So you can just open them up side by side and then edit them. So here I'm trying to show how I type. Uh, so there are snippets, LaTeX snippets, which you can install in like any other LaTeX online offline LaTeX software as well, like VS Code. So you write, so the snippets work in this way, right? MK will add the um, double dollars for you where you can write your LaTeX. This is a group, congruent, congruency groups. So now what you want to show is write a proposition that. So I write proposition in this way. These are not callouts, these are blocks. Just less than the greater than sign and then bold proposition. I'm not sure if this proposition is correct. So if I have defined a symmetric group of a subset in Rn, and if I say two things as congruent, they should have the same symmetric group, right? Like two translated circles have the same symmetric group, two translated congruent triangles have the same symmetric group, isomorphic symmetric groups. This is a proposition. How do you prove it? I write proof in this way, right? I write proof in you in a list. That's how you um, escape from ugly paragraph proofs. Like you need to make the list and then make write the proof down. So let's say I want to use the definition of uh, symmetry groups. Then I would just go here, press Control Shift C. Okay, it does not. I have not installed the plugin. So you install plugin in this way. I want to install this plugin. What this plugin will do, it will allow you to copy block embed codes quickly, which will allow you to do this. If the plugin is installed, you have to trust the authors to not give you viruses in the plugins. So what it did is Control Shift C, copy the plugin code. Plugin code is not well appreciated here. Maybe I can keep it here. Uh, yeah, maybe this is fine, and then I copy paste it here. So this is the embedding of that little call definition box into here. So I don't have to write definition 2.3. I just copy the little part of the definition right here. If I don't want to show the image in the definition, I just keep this here and copy the block ID here. Then the definition box becomes slightly smaller. This will be more professional. But if I want the picture, but don't want it to be big, this big, I will tell you how to make pictures here. I can write it to be center 400 and will render it in the center and size 400 pixels. I would think that's the number I'm giving. Now, how do you? Okay, I don't want to continue this, but how do you write LaTeX quickly? So, MK for single dollars doubled, but DM for double dollars doubled. This will render a usual LaTeX like block maths box for you. Here, one slash, the snippets are made in such a way one slash is automatically at the frac option. At the rate A will give you alpha. The I just clicked for shift 6. It only should have added the exponential sign, but it also had the bracket. I can now add a 9, add a epsilon by alt by at the rate E. What else? What other snippets do I have? I have DVF. I use, let's not showcase this. This is there in the template, but maybe other people don't want to use my template. So there are preambles you can fix for Obsidian as well. Um, those will be in the, if you look up the templates folder in a, it will be right here. If you open this file in VS Code, you'll be able to read it and add preamble for your LaTeX for your Obsidian overall. You have to restart the Obsidian to render it. Now, this is how you write quickly. So, for example, let's say I want to write sign, but I don't remember the code for sign, which is weird because it's literally sign. But let's say I don't remember curve right arrow. Curve arrow right. This So there are drop down boxes as well. I want to write big circle. Yeah, so snippets and the drop down boxes will help you write your code quickly, write your math quickly. So if I want to write um, two shapes not congruent, two shapes are congruent, then DM, MRM, SYM, bracket S1, 1 is isomorphic as a group. Maybe I will use MRM to write a group, but I think of isomorphism being in a category. For a category, I use cat. I've defined it myself in the preamble, and I write group. You can change the font later if I want, and it will change the cat font everywhere. This will be isomorphic to MRM, SYM, bracket S2. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm only writing symbols like underscore and the brackets are automatically coming in. I don't need to worry about. I, it's slightly quicker, and that incremental times add up. That's the usual way of putting it. Maybe it's not true. Maybe in any case, this is much simpler and um, easier for the mind. Maybe it takes the equal amount of time to write underscore and a bracket, but of course, you don't need to worry about those things. It will become your habit, and then it's cool. So maybe I will add this here. Two congruent ships. S1 sim. So, isomorphic symmetries. Yeah. So that's how you write. That's how I wrote all of this. Now I also added this ugly diagrams in between and the callout boxes. So how do I add callout boxes? I use Alt V and it asks me to put a call out name. You can, so there's an Enmotion plugin which will allow you to add more boxes. I have defined a definition box and a theorem box. Definition box is special because it has a green definition on the along with the icon, which is not there for others. This is I have made this using CSS. So Obsidian is built on electrons. That means it's all HTML and CSS. It's like website. Um, it's website which is you're using a website sort of a web browser to be you as a note taking app, but it's offline, of course. It's not actually a web browser. You can browse the web, but you can use it completely offline. You don't need any of these plugins to really type your notes, which is for adding more features. Now, for example, I can select this. I can press Alt V. I can add a question box. I can click and insert. You can make this all keyboardy maybe, but um, without using the mouse. But yeah, that's how you make a question box. You can define an intuition box. You can define any other box you want. I have an intuition box in my note. Vault. I haven't defined it here because yeah, that is an intuition box. Okay, so maybe I can select this and Alt V and an intuition. No, intuition. Tab. Insert. Yep. Too many boxes, but it's fine. This is fine. Maybe I can control that. Now, uh, maybe I want to say congruent has a symbol like notation S1. So, of course, writing LaTeX has its own. You have to remember the symbol. The symbol for similar is SIM. Similar twist. Yeah, that's it. That's how I write all my notes almost. Now maybe I can open up. Yeah, so I have showcased some of my notes here. That is, you can look them up. Now, yeah, this is the showcase for the snippet. I have also showcased something here, which is also very interesting. You, in my vault, I have installed, this is not in this template, but you can use SymPy to run, to solve equations or matrix inverses or something. This is multiply the matrix 5 times. This is SymPy. So I used a local installation of SymPy and made this uh, sort of template. This is using the templater plugin by myself, but you one there is a plugin that does it, but I can't make it work. So other than that, there is data view. So if I open up Vintage 101, so this how is it rendering a list of uh, files which are supposedly in lecture notes of this course. It is what is it is rendering is it's rendering all the files in the folder this file is currently in with the name which is not a drawing, and it's rendering all of them. You can, and it's this code what it is doing is make it's rendering it's computing from the query what should be the next lecture note number, and it's the button is another plugin which is a helps you to create a lecture note. So you can click on it. This will create a lecture note for you, and click on it. It should open up like this, but it sometimes does not. So maybe I can delete it and open up again. Sometimes it's open up like this. So you can control E and then control the button before control sim button, the button for this one, and then you can write your lecture notes. So this automatically comes with a tag lecture. I have not made it such a way that it will also use a tag. Also, there should be a course. These are properties, and then you can add maybe course. And here the course number should be rendered, but I didn't do that. It's I don't see the necessity because the file name already has MTH11. It's not necessary to run. So this is data view. Data view helps you query things. There is an inbuilt query database feature is coming in Obsidian. It's not public as of yet of the recording of this video. But yeah, I mean this is very cool, and one can use it for everything. You can use the Xsolidar plugin, Xsolidar, create a in a new tab using just a mouse. You can draw very almost everything. So you can just draw this and this. The Xsolidar allows you to have sloppiness. If I don't want it, I just make it bold, and then this. These are cool shapes. Maybe I will this. Yeah, so you can double click on it, you can add text. If you don't like the text color, you can just make it. And you can make flowcharts and you can ask them to render. So a quick way of, let's say you want a drawing here, then control shift right box icon, right box but keyboard, then it will open up a Xcolor template, Xcolor drawing for you. It will automatically embed it. So if you draw something here, Control S, it will save it here. Yep. So you want, let's say, to compute symmetries of a rectangle. You want to draw a rectangle. Maybe you don't want it shaded, but you want it bold and you want it to be a rectangle. You don't want sloppiness. Maybe you also add some dotted lines to show the reflective symmetry. You want it to be in the middle, so you select both of them and you do this. And then you do this, and then you select all of them and do this. Yep, that's it. You can make both of them a little more dotted by selecting this. This is very preliminary diagrams. You can change the size of this by changing the size here. It can be absolute, it can be percentage, it can be 50%. That's it. That's how you make drawings. You can, if you have a touch laptop, it's much better. If you have a drawing tablet, you can use that. You can use this to write things here. Um, yep. And I've added more links. Um, Long-term note-taking features, what I use is to make long-term notes, I use a hierarchical structure of notes. So I want my notes to have notes to be in a hierarchy of parent, child kind of tree structure, and it will be a root, and then mathematical structure groups. Group will have a, and to make it easy, I can have install plugins. For example, Control Alt Right arrow button will allow you to write down a child note, and Control Alt down button is not rendering because I've probably shut it down. Yeah, if you turn this on, which will be there, Control Alt down button is show you the child nodes. Control up button will show you the parent nodes. You keep going above in the tree, and you try to look down. Let's see this. You can add more vaults. You can play around with this plugin settings, and structured tree requires to have a vault to work. You can add more vaults and use it in our own way, but I have an entire philosophy of distinguishing between long-term notes and short-term notes. Short-term notes are book notes and stuff. It's mainly described in this video. I think uh, this video explains it well. And other than that, maybe I will make a video like this again for a VS Code setup, which have not made it up right now. I have to start doing it. Um, Other than that, I should again elaborate on the fact that Obsidian is not a LaTeX um, document making software, but you can use it to export notes. For example, I made all my notes here like this one. Which one should I open? Let's say this one. These notes are what I was showing previously. This I exported using the usual. So there's a plugin export. I think I better export PDF. That plugin exports PDFs well. So you just search better export PDF and then export using that. It will ask you to do this. And yeah, that those export looks like this, which is usable for sort of informal purposes, because of course things like this happen. If you're using a PDF reader which does not show a gap, then maybe this works. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's a note taking app for your note taking. You can write some note and then you can embed a part of a note which is like old. You can maybe one of the great things is if you're writing a proof, you can embed theorems inside your proofs. So your proof looks like this rather than by theorem 2.5, and then you have to click on the 2.5 so to go up and look at what the statement of that statement is. But the writing notes, keeping track of notes which are old, taking notes on literally everything, like whatever video you're watching, is helpful in ways that um, showcases in long term. But again, these are still short term note taking. I would also want to showcase the benefit of taking long term notes, which do not depend on lecture notes, do not depend on um, videos. They are just written in a way that showcases how they are arranged conceptually, which this video elaborates on again. And yeah, so you can keep making diagrams and boxes inside boxes, theorem boxes. You can make similar kind of boxes inside boxes for theorems as well. Some theorems use some theorem, and then it's a loop of theorems. It's a recurrence of theorems. I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, mine. I want to when I write notes, because I can copy paste and because I can use pieces of notes from above, and I can keep editing them as much as I want. I write things. So this is a bug callout which is inbuilt, and I wrote, what if I try to do something and it does not work? So I add those things as well, because some mathematicians once said, who if you know the n step of a proof and you know the n plus one step for all n, that doesn't mean you know the proof. You need to know what happens when the something you change something on the proof, you change something in the hypothesis. I'd try to add those things as well, everywhere possible, which means I add diagrams, like how I visualize the spaces really. I visualize or more conceptual things. For example, this little diagram. This is from the book which I was following anyway, but yeah, these diagrams are made in Illustrator. So these diagrams are not possible to be made very easily. These are time-taking things, but still, um, because I'm making them, I will be able to use them in my LaTeX document if I use them. Eventually, I want to make LaTeX documents. Because Obsidian and LaTeX documents are philosophically different, not just um, technically. There is a there should be an intermediate step between converting one to other. I have not found a good way to convert one to the other. There are ways. There are ways that are listed here in my article. Now, some of them work. This first one, the author of this plugin, second one, author of the second one, they have used it to actually render this one. They have used it to actually render this uh, paper and publish it. One paper, not this one. This is a lecture file, lecture note. Um, Now, yeah, opening up websites and writing on notes, opening up PDFs. There's a PDF plus plus plugin where you can extract PDF, uh, parts of PDF exactly, and then um, link to them. Those features are new. I have not installed that plugin here, but you can of course install any of the other thousands of plugins. 6,000 on 2,500. Um, None of them maybe are safe. Just um, it's a bit worrying that there is a check by the developers before they release these plugins, but still, these plugins are community made. It's kind of worryful, but it's fine. It works. It has never caused me any harm anyway. I tend not to install more plugins other than the ones I use. So yeah, and that should be it really. Maybe I'll elaborate on other things next time.